So welcome to our webinar series from today until Thursday with the topic go-to-market and how you can come to traction with customer focus, with customer centricity. This is a webinar series now exactly like this, the second time. I did once with the Next Media Accelerator in Hamburg, and that was in March, and I think it has a very good recommendations and feedback, so that Sabella from the German WeWork, she picked that up and really wanted to do that as well for you guys, and I was really happy to do that. What will be our agenda for the 3 days? Today we want to go a little bit into understanding customers, into problem solution fitness. One tool that I'm a big fan of it, because almost no one is really using it up until now, is the customer empathy map, where we want to find out about the blood pressure moments of our target groups, of our target personas then. Tomorrow we want to go deeper into product market fitness, into also the right content hub, because the content hub with the right storyline, this is in my experience is a big potential that you need to focus on delivering the right contents for the right target persons. And on day 3 we will go into the go-to-market execution, so setting up the right channels without losing any overview, losing track. That will be the 3 days. To your expectation setting, from some of you, I already got some background. That would be great to maybe get that also from the others of you. How you can do that, I will let you know in the end. For the expectation setting, what I got from your side so far is you want to know how to approach the different customer types. You want to know more about selling, some techniques of selling process, how to get traction. That is pretty much a good approach to that. How to get closer to your prospects. How can we reach the right customers? How can we shorten the whole sales process, so the sales cycle at all? I think almost all of these topics or expectations that you raised so far, we will come to that. If you have further expectations, further questions, don't hesitate just to raise your voice and ask it meanwhile during the webinar or in the end. So actually I think we have some kind of buffer for the questions and the answers. So there should be no problem just to stop at a point and to go deeper maybe in one of your areas. Okay, and to tell you a little bit, who am I? Who is standing here, or who are you getting to know? My name is Andre. I'm a Munich-based entrepreneur, former background in the armed forces, where I've been for 12 years. Afterwards, I did, let's say, some more innovative stuff. I wanted to go more into civil economics. My first experience in that area was, currently and today, I would say that was a fail. We set up a platform that tried to bring former soldiers into the civil economic world. So with bringing them into education partners like universities, like seminar offers, and then also to hiring companies. And I was the responsible guy for the marketing and sales, and on the one track, selling our then digital platform to the HR companies and to the to the seminar offers, we were pretty successful back then. But on the other hand, as it is very often with hen and egg, we were failing at the point when we should sell that to our former target group, namely the soldiers who are leaving the armed forces. And that was the area where I, or the time where I looked for some more structure in marketing. So I had the feeling everything is unstructured, everything. I do a lot of things during the day, but not really realizing what works and what doesn't work and what makes sense for reaching the right target group and what doesn't. And so I came, so that these were actually directly the beginnings of what I'm currently doing with TractionWise. That was setting up projects with companies, helping them with their go-to-market, let's say. And what are the typically three areas that we help them with? And this is already today, that is understanding your customers well, building right contents, and finding the working channels based on data and not based on gut feeling. And these are also the three areas that we want to go through during the webinar series. And where are we currently today? TractionWise is the let's say remote setup agency, not only based in Munich, but in Munich and also Nuremberg, where a partner of me is also sitting, and we are pulling together experts in different fields and different channels. And very often the partner and me, we are setting up the very first base. But that's enough of the advertising. We are now getting deeper into understanding customers. So very often what we see is that companies and startups, more than experienced companies, they are going out into the area and say, hey, actually everyone could be our customer. And maybe or probably you already have said that to yourself within your team, or have thought that for yourself. I had the same feeling a few years ago. But what is really the problem with the topic that everyone could be our customer? The problem is that you run out of resources very, very fast if you don't know where to start. You're like I think you can compare that with the area of that is comparable with B2B or also B2C. You're not only limited in resources like time and money, but also you lose some kind of focus. So you don't know where to really start first, if you can say that to yourself. So the question is, where, when, and who is our customer, and also whom could we cut out of that equation? So who is it not, and when is it not, and where is it not? So having a big market, having a big target group is not really a problem, but having a good idea where to start and understanding a good prioritization. So whom to start with first, and then go second to another area, and then go to another area, or to different personas there. It really makes sense to understand roles and authorities. So that means you will have that into or in the area of B2B as well as B2C. So if you want to sell something B2C, there are official and also unofficial authorities, maybe in a family. So very often, and that will differ from culture to culture, and also from family to family, but very often you have some person who is financially the leader within a family, for example. Then you will have some other person who is the unofficial decider. And this is also what you're having in the B2B area. Some people we are talking to at a first conversation is they tell us, yeah, we are actually targeting the SMEs, so the small and medium-sized enterprises. And that is already the one segmentation, but within this company, we are actually more interested in, so who will be in the buying center? So who will be involved in purchasing, in deciding to go with you or to not go with you. And there are also official and unofficial roles. There are different personas in there, and we will get that on the next slide. Then also the timing. Is there some time in the year, within a month, within a quarter, within a week, where it is highly probable that you are reaching the person at the right spot? Or are there also time periods where you are coming totally at the wrong spot? That could be, for example, when all the budget is already gone, or when this company 1 week ago has purchased from your competitor. So that might be times when timing is not the right fit. And there are also other areas, and if you encounter these areas, then these are also like ideas, inspirations, impulses for later channels. To go into the different types of users or customers, this is what I a little bit on the slide before talked about. You will have, whether it is in B2B or B2C, you will have deciders, you will have people who are responsible for the finance, you will have someone who recommends internally or also externally, someone who influences the others. He or she maybe has not, let's say, the right position, but he or she can influence, and then you will have the user. And probably you will have to deal during your marketing and sales process with the different types of these users. And what I learned from myself, from ourselves, but I very often see that we as entrepreneurs have to be cautious, not go into one of these streams that I tried to illustrate here with a few images. The one extreme is like we are locking ourselves into our warm and cozy office, and something great, some cool stuff, some cool product, and we're hoping to one day get out of the door or kick the door open and tell the world, hey world, here we are, you only need to buy that from us. So that is the one extremum, so the build it and they will come. And the other extremum is like, and this is driven very much from the areas of design thinking. I'm a big fan of design thinking, but only if it is really focused and really if it is executed well. And the extremum in this please the customers with everything, based by the design thinking areas, that we're trying to trying to make everything fit and make everything happen in the nitty-gritty things for customers, and there we are in the big, let's say, in the big danger of building or setting up faster horses than building the next thing, like the automobile, as Henry Ford stated it once. So to make it short at that point, we need to figure out the way probably in between these two extremes. So we need, as entrepreneurs, see the next yeah, the next step, maybe not the mini or nitty-gritty step that the customer actually wants, but to get to the next step. And on the other hand, be cautious that we're not locking ourselves and being in touch with the customers as well. In terms of segmentation, I think I went into that a little bit. So why should we do segmentation? Segmenting, for example, the customer profiles, segmenting the company profiles. It is important because we then understand where can we prioritize our investments. So our time, our money. It aligns also a good let's say preparation for our storyline and also for our later contents, and it aligns all the processes into one direction, so that it happened, or that it won't happen as it happened to us a few years ago, when I went into the office in the morning and ran out in the night out of the office. And I had the feeling, so in which direction are we currently going? So that it brings us to a more focused direction. And now I think I want to go into an area where I want to show that where you can do this segmentation and also can get a little bit more of insight of your customers. And the way one I want to show you on one slide, and then I go into the browser and show you one idea of how you can gather data and make use of existing platforms. For the carving out, so the way one is that's actually pretty pragmatic, and you can do that once. So on this green field, it is good that, and it is wanted from my side, that you are not really seeing good where are the customers. So that is where you pretty much start at the beginning. And the first carving out of your customers, so the first decision that you probably will be able to make is, hey, are we actually playing in the field of B2B, or are we in the field of B2C? And if we now go in more into the field of B2B, so business to business, we can ask ourselves, so is the rest of the world, is it at that point of time really interesting for us, or do we have a relevant region for us? Then are there some kind of industries that are absolutely not apting to us because our focus goes to a specific industry, or specific industries that are more relevant, where we know that others, we don't want to deal with them at that moment, or maybe at all the time. Then the next area could be, are we aware of which kind of companies do we want to sell to? Is it like we want to sell to the one-man shows or the small startups that actually very often don't have a lot of money, or are we dealing with a specific and relevant company size? And the company size could be based on the number of employees, the revenue per year, something like that. Then the understanding of, is there a fit of this buying center? So the people who are involved into or involved in the decision making of coming together with you as a customer relationship. Is there a fit, or is there no fit? And then actually that is probably an order that you can follow, but that you don't have to follow exactly that. So you can go the steps in a different order. Are there need signals? Are there signals that the company or the personas in there in this buying center, are they really like signaling that they are in need or not? And on the B2C area, or in the B2C world, it's actually almost the same. You can say, does the rest of the world, do they really are they interesting for us, or do we have a relevant region? In the B2C area, very often we talk about educational level. Are we targeting specific people in an educational level that needs to adapt to our service or product? Do we need a specific income level because our product is really high priced, or is that not really relevant? Do we have a fit in sex? So do we specifically target, for example, young mothers, or is it the best agers, or what could that be? And then, do we have a fit in family status? Are we, for example, addressing a specific family status like the divorced single ladies, or the young couple that plans to get married in a few weeks? That is something like that. And I think that was the last idea from my side. Do we have also missing need signals, or are there existing need signals? And now I want to go to, so this is very much what you can up until now do for yourself as well. And what I want to go to, I hope you now see the can you see my LinkedIn, so the browser? Could you give me a short sign?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yes, we see it.
Okay, you can see it, perfect. Because I was not sure if I shared only the PowerPoint slides. Okay, when using some existing platforms for B2B, very much LinkedIn is a good way to start. There are several others. I know that some of you are more in the field of B2B, some are more in the field of B2C. For this example, I will show you this on LinkedIn, because there, for me, it makes a lot of sense, because people are very often underrating what options and what possibilities we have there. You can do that as well on different also B2C platforms that might be Facebook, that might be Pinterest, and several others. What people very often not really see is the options that we can or the options that we have within the search fields. And within the search, we often only look for people. But what it also makes sense is, if I'm only taking an example, if I would like to market, or if our service is something like a service or a product for content marketing, and content marketing is only a placeholder now. So you can also take your top keyword, what is that actually for, or who could be in use of that. And now I only gave that into the normal search bar. And one area I want to specifically go to is to see if a company is currently in need of some content marketing personnel. So content marketing heads, for example. And I would see, for example, some companies, okay, I have here some filters, for example, for Germany. You can set that to yourself as well. If I would sell some service of some software for content marketing, I would be very much interested in whom should I address first with my content marketing. That are the companies who are maybe currently looking for guys, or for people, for women and men, for their content marketing team. So the areas of jobs is one good idea to start with at the very first beginning, because then I would really very fast see what kind of expectations do companies have for their next, for example, content marketing hires. And would there be some kind of fit that we with our solution could come in, where we say, hey, if you hire this next expert, for example, this content marketing expert, it also would make sense that that you maybe take in account our solution, because your content marketing expert will be getting the right tools in their hand. So that is one area that very gets underrated, because others might only look there for if they're really looking for jobs. But I see within different projects, we very often look into this kind of area, because companies are very often communicating their needs already within the hires. The next area I want to go to is schools. So that could be an area that makes sense. Getting, for example, into touch with all the schools, or the academies, or the universities who are in the area of, for example, content marketing, because this is still my keyword that I set up there. Getting into another area that is content. So if I'm looking here with my keyword of content marketing, I can check which kind of companies, which kind of personnel are actually currently looking for or publishing contents in the area of my keyword. Am I, with my company, also there? Am I publishing something that could give me a good idea of what kind of articles, what kind of topics in my area are really high engaging, are really creating a lot of comments, a lot of likes, for example, like that. That is, as I said, only an example. Now we are coming more to the probably the used areas, the companies. Here is the same as with the schools. I get an information of what company actually has like content or content marketing within their name. Maybe it's a good idea to also connect with them, to exchange with them, and then last but not least, probably the ones that you are already using, but I want to show you, I think, some things more. So within all the filters that we now can use is probably the idea to find out who within this buying center, who within the different types of users, does it make sense to find this person? What does he or she have, for example, as a title on his badge or within his profile? And here probably it won't change much. Oh yeah, it reduced it a lot. So if I'm heading down to the all filters in the title instead of staying up there, what I now can switch it is what I told you before, like, is a relevant region, is that important for me? For example, for me, we are based in Munich or we are based in Germany, so probably I would reduce it and would reduce my starting to the ones that are really more and more interesting to us. Do I have any connections? For example, only the first and second connections. How does it change? And the good thing about this search, and that is maybe something that you haven't used so far, that is that this search, similar as with Google is, it can use, or you can use a Boolean search in there. So for example, if I have these, how's that called, brackets? No, is it brackets? The hyphens before and after. It is the same within Google. It will only match the results that are exactly content marketing. If I'm not having these, then I will get someone who has maybe something with content, something with marketing, and something with content and marketing. And there are some more Boolean searches. If you want to go deeper into that, you can also exclude something. with, for example, something with or with not. So this is some idea that I wanted to give you here. So using existing platforms, and that is very often also applicable to other platforms like for example Facebook. When we are talking about understanding customers, we need to figure out what is actually the problem, or the we very much talk about the blood pressure moment. So the moment of where the potential customer or the current customer has a high blood pressure or a high pulse, and what the problem really is for you, and maybe also for your customer, that might differ. So that also might differ in what is your solution to him or her, and what is his own solution for his workaround. And there are only two examples. If someone has some kind of a tablet and needs a stand for it, the one image, the one picture be a solution for him already. And your solution might be another one, like you're selling professional tablet stands, for example. And getting into the area of, or understanding what is the current problem, what is the current solution, that is actually the core of problem solution interviews. And you might have heard of that, but this is one of the cores of lean startup. Finding out about the status quo. What or do people really have the problem that I'm assuming? What is the workaround? At this example that you saw before. So what is the workaround here? So the workaround for getting a medium hot water is just this simple cut it bottle. So what is the workaround, how the customers approach the problem today? And what is your solution, and how does your solution, or does your solution really deliver a game-changing value to them compared to before? And so the out of experience, what we are currently doing is the execution for doing the problem and solution interviews is a good mix of phone or Skype or something similar. So something where you can reach people all over the world at almost any time, mixed with personal talks, because there you can very much or a lot better can gather data of their expression, facial expression of their real feeling, and also the mix or blended with online options like Quora, Gute Frage, so that's German, but probably within your countries there will be similar platforms like that. Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, some areas where potential customers or users come together. And one of these options for the online ones, maybe you've heard of Quora, maybe or you're already using it. I think for a lot of the attendees within our workshops and webinars, very much of them, or a lot of them, are not really using it as we are currently doing. So I wanted to show you some idea, or give you some idea what you can very fast start with. I did that for one of our attendees for today. I see that because it was only a few minutes ago that I just posted for them one question. So what is Quora actually about? It's about you can bring the right questions. You can target people who may have the answer for that, and that is the big quality aspect to it. And let's say the big bonus in terms of later link building, later SEO topics, but also being recognized as experts in a specific field is that if you, and that is maybe also some growth hack if you want to get it as that statement. If you're in a team of a few people, it makes sense that maybe today or at a time when you ask questions, the one of you is the one profile you are setting up at Quora is the one that always asks the questions. That might be 10, that might be 100, that might be 1,000 questions. And at a specific time, you will have probably a lot of these answers that you had asked questions before. And at that time, it makes sense to bring your answers, your expertise in there together with a link. I think I can show you some other, because I'm very often using Quora for that. You see that I have at some point really made some kind of a structure to that, asking at us when we start with a project, asking at a very structured way, what are, for example, what are mistakes with pricing models? What are typical problems marketers face with pricing models? How can you succeed at pricing strategy? So that is based on a customer we are currently working for, someone who is a pricing consultant, setting up a lot of questions for him that interest him on the one hand for his target group, to gather data also for the customer interviews, but also being able to at a later space target these questions again. I hope that, for example, there is an answer. No, there is not yet an answer. I think it's because of Easter time. Very often I get. Now I need to figure out where is a good answer, because I think that just give me a second. I'm trying to figure it out. Yeah, okay, here's that. So when asking a question, that was another attendee from another workshop who was actually interested in how can you currently locate relevant financial market events and identify underlying causes. So not only that, that this was asked last week, we already got 2 answers. And very often the answers are not only a one-liner, but highly interesting, getting insights, not at all. And what happens now, or what can you gather from these events here and from these answers is, on the one hand, you can get in touch with the persons that are behind the answers or behind the questions. You can very often link to some of your resources that could be from the question side as well, but also within the answer side, and that helps you in later stages as well for some search engine topics like search engine optimization. And this is what I wanted to show you here, because very often this is a good way to start and to gather a lot of data in short time, and maybe that can fill you some areas where you maybe not get in direct contact with customers very fast. So this is what should be as I said, in a good mix to the phone, to personal talks. This is what you can directly start, and within real workshops within accelerators, we very often go into the area of real execution. So it would be cool to hear from you if you could tell me tomorrow or the day after tomorrow if you already used that, or if you were able to set up the first questions for that. There are some useful tools that are, but they are really optional for that. One of the tools that we're using and giving away also the users of our workshops is a pocket guide that is very neat. This is a offline a paper, and we are giving that away. If you're interested in that, I can send that also to you, because this is some kind of like a business card, a double business card, but you can fold that and you can have that with you all the time when you want, for example, within a shopping center or somewhere else, can have some customer interviews just in case. And there are more like a structured way of problem and solution interviews with a structure, and we have that within a blog post that we did. So that are some easy tools you can start with, and you will find other problem under the area of problem and solution interviews. You will also get some other structures, so not only from our side. And one area that I wanted to go to now, I think to round that up for today, is the customer empathy map. So the customer empathy map is very often not used yet from entrepreneurs I get to know. They very often hear something about customer personas, and very often they can tell something about customer personas, but from a very specific area where it very often goes into a segmentation criteria that we had before. Something like, yeah, this persona has 2 children and is named Mark, and he is typically 35 years old. But what it very often misses is what kind of information could we get of, for example, Mark during his or of his daily life, and therefore there are some additional questions that I'm raising here, and the area how to start or how to go with this kind of empathy map is a very living document, and you set it up for different customer profiles or customer personas. And I have an example on the slide afterwards where it goes a little bit clearer. I just want to illustrate how you would start on that. Is the easiest way is to start with the upper part on the right at 3 o'clock. So what does your customer persona see during his day, during his week, during his month, or during the year? What and then together with the other information, or together with the other questions. Then it comes to the area of what does he do or what does he say. The same with what does he or she hear, and then what does he or she think and feel. And out of this information that you actually can bring post-its of it to your empathy map, you can condense or compress the pains and the gains of it. And to go into an example, for one of our projects, we had the customer persona. We called him, we didn't call him Mark. For us, it was the sales dino. We don't have to call him every time a name. Whom did we see there? This would be a senior head of sales or a VP sales within the mid-50s, and he is running the sales for 10 or 20 years. And he has a specific EBIT target or other KPI. And starting it with what does he see is that, for example, competitors rely on technology to gain a head start. technology is changing different areas of life. And now maybe you wonder why are some of these post-its or the digital post-its, why are they green or gray? We typically start, everything is gray, and as soon as we got into some customer conversation and got into some validation, so got some interviews and got confirmation on that or validation on that, it turned green. And so it happened with also the other areas. So we found out that our customer persona, so the sales dino, he very often has a leading role in a club or in a board, or he's within a speaking club. And what is interesting about that is that he very often also hears something from his boss about what about the numbers. So this could be some kind of very first area of where could be some pain also some gain into that. And I think you already got the idea from this customer empathy map. Is you go or you fill out the upper part, get some information about the whole working day, but also the working week, the month or the year that is in connect with your actual topic. So that is in connect with your problem that you want to solve, or that with your solution that you can bring up, and you can gather then, or you can elaborate on the pains and on the gains then. Okay, and to sum it up, what is the problem solution fit? It's actually understanding customers on different levels, on different steps, you can say. And it's about understanding which kind of events create the needs, where there are different solutions for that. And one of these solutions, and probably the best fitting for the customers, is your offer. I want to illustrate that a little bit more. So there could be a lot of events that could, for example, with a standing desk. So that could be a good example. If I want to sell a stand-up desk for offices, then the potential customer for that, or the potential user for that, that would be also again difference. The different or the specific user for that has probably he doesn't wake up in the morning and say, hey, I need to get a stand-up working desk. He will be sitting during the whole day and will get some kind of symptoms, like medical symptoms, or symptoms of his whole body. Like at some point of the day, he probably will get some kind of pain in the neck. At some point of the day, he will get some kind of concentration issues or some focusing issues. And there are some more of these symptoms. And if we understand that a potential customer or user is not waking up in the morning, but has at the very first level not a big pain point, but he would look for some specific events, specific symptoms, like difficulty of focusing within the office, or neck pain from the office day, or something like that. So that is on the very much the basic level, on this event level. Then at some point of time, he takes a step to where these symptoms and where these events get to such a high blood pressure that he says, oh, now I need some, I have a need, I need something that helps me with that. And that could be in the area of where he says, I now understand that my pain in the neck, or my concentration issues, they are coming probably from my working environment at the job. And maybe it comes from kind of sitting all the day. So that means coming there with some kind of ideas, some kind of questions in the area of what is actually the need. So my need is I have a pain in the neck, and it comes from sitting the whole day. So now the need area is clear. He wants to find solutions that could be in the area of training for physiotherapists. There could be some kind of books where you train yourself the whole day. That could be a more ergonomic, I hope that the verb is correct, having a more ergonomic chair to sit on. And then one of the solutions could also be some desk that can change to a stand-up desk, or a stand-up desk itself. These are potential solutions, and then on one step more, or one level further, it needs to differ. Why is, for example, your stand-up desk compared to only a ergonomic chair or a self-learning book for getting fit into the office? Why is that the best? And I think this is my summing up of today, understanding the customer on different levels. My call to action for today is, I would ask you to create one customer profile with the empathy map, and therefore you find with this link the empathy map as a template. And what I have done actually with the webinar before that we had with the Next Media Accelerator in Hamburg, actually one of the Next Media Accelerator one responsible, she was, let's say, the one touch point for me, and she spread out the word or the links, because I prepared one Google Drive folder for you where I have already placed the slides from today's presentation in, and also the customer empathy map. I wanted just to ask you, is there someone within your group that is in the same, or do we want to do that in the easiest way? You just, let's say, write here in the chat window, give me some kind of an email address where I can send you that link to. I'm pretty open to that. So that is my call to action. And then I want just to switch to the Q&A if you are having any questions from today.